YouTube channel. I'm Alan. This is Junior the Boxer Dog, my buddy, my friend. Today what I'm going to do is, I actually did this video for a different YouTube channel that I do with a friend. But I wanted to show you guys and like maybe a little more instruction on how to make raised beds very cheaply. Behind me right here I have some 2x4s. So the measurements on these raised beds are going to be 4x8. Essentially what I do is I take these 2x4s, which by the way I'm doing this very cheaply. We're on a very good budget. I'm not getting real fancy. I'm not really spending a lot of money on these. 2x4s are about say $3 to $4 a piece. These are $3.50 a piece at Home Depot. I get 9 2x4s, so that gives you 3 on the side of each side. So you're gonna have a little over about, like say a foot and 4 inches of a side. So you're gonna have a decently deep side. And then what I do is I take 3 of them and I cut them in half to make the ends. So that's how you get your 4x8, because basically you have 8-foot 2x4s that we're cutting in half. So you're gonna have 8 foot long on the side, 4 foot on the end. We're gonna cut those in half, and then we're gonna put them together into a box. And it seems maybe complicated, but it's actually a pretty easy thing to do. And it'll give you a good sized box to work with. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this wood. I'll show you kind of me using the saw. We'll kind of fast forward through that. And then I wanna show you how I do the corners. There's actually multiple ways you can do the corners, and I'll show you the way that I did it on the ones that I already made, because I already made some. These are basically, the 3 that I already made were for my wife's mint plants that she uses, and ginger that she uses for her detox water and her sun teas. But I'm gonna actually put these together because the groundhogs actually tear up my broccoli when I plant it out in the field, and they eat it all, and I think the deer do as well. So I'm gonna plant some broccoli and cauliflower just for us, and to do that, because it's our favorite vegetables. To do that, it's easier to make these and then put chicken wire around the side so that no animals can get it in. And that's one of the main reasons that you would do a raised bed. Obviously, it's space saving. It makes things a little more or less complicated. You can do a lot of soil control in a raised bed. You can dump compost in it. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going into the ground. You can put horse manure or whatever. We actually put a fill dirt on the bottom and then a horse manure on the top, because the horse manure is readily available, thanks to our friends behind us, Ravenwood Riding Academy. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and show you that it's pretty cheap. So you figure if you just wanted to make one bed, you're not talking a lot of money when you're considering they're about $3.50 a piece. The corners, I'm going to use a metal corner piece just because I have them and they're readily available and I don't feel like cutting the wood. You could actually buy an extra 2x4 or 2 extra 2x4s and use that as well. And like I said, I actually used a 4x4 on the ones that I already built, because I had a lot of small pieces of 4x4s that I could just kind of cut down a little bit more and make into the corners. However, there's multiple ways to make the corners. I'm going to use metal reinforcement for these two, but I will show you how I did the 4x4, and I'll also give you like kind of a description on how you could use a 2x4 as well, just so you guys get an idea of how you could piece it together pretty inexpensively. Without further ado, per se, I'm going to start cutting the ends for the wood, and then I will show you how I put the corners together. So in case you guys don't know, 46 inches. Well, 48 inches. See, these are, so I guess I should preface this. When you get a 2x4 that's 8 foot long, it's really only about 7.5 feet long. So it's actually 7.66 feet. So I guess I should preface this by saying the halfway point for these guys is about 46 inches. So I'll be honest with you. In this case, I just rough cut this stuff, so I just kind of take a measuring tape and find the 46 area and just cut it. You know, in our case, I'm not really looking for beauty as much as just functionality. You can get a lot nicer wood as well. You could get pressure treated wood. Depends on how much you want to spend. I'm getting basic wood because, or non-treated wood, because this will last 10 or 15 years the way it is right now. So I'm not worried about it. But I just want to give you guys all kinds of a heads up. You know, it doesn't have to be basic wood. You could use pressure treated. You could even use a nice cedar. It just depends on how much you want to spend. In this case, I'm making functionality or taking functionality over form. I just cut these rough cut so that the ends look good. I'll show you what the other ones look like already, so you get an idea. They still look really nice when they're done, so you don't have to get crazy. I know you might not even be able to see me right now in this video, but hopefully you can hear me. I'm just trying to get these so they work, and that's my biggest purpose of these raised beds. They still look good. You could paint them if you really wanted to, stain them, whatever you really wanted to do, but they're gonna look good at the end. I'll show you, like I said, the ones that I've already done. I'll show you these guys when they're done, but these still look really nice when they're done, and they're very functional. So any kind of saw can be used, guys. Like, it doesn't have to be a miter saw. It can be any kind of saw. You know, a reciprocating saw, a hand saw, whatever you have, you can use it. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit longer. This reciprocating saw, this miter saw makes things a little bit easier. Sometimes called a cutoff saw. Whatever you have that'll work, you know. And actually, if you go to Home Depot, they I think they cut wood for free for you. So you could always ask them to just cut it down for you. So just keep that in mind as well. I mean, it wouldn't take them long to cut a bunch of pieces of wood like this. Especially if you're only making one. This will be when we're done, there'll be 5 of them. My goal is to actually have the whole front of that area as raised beds. So we'll have probably, you know, 20 or 30 of them, just so we can plant a lot of different things and make it a real functional area. And actually I can try to propagate a couple different things and hybridize some flowers and things. So that's the purpose of why I'm doing this, other than, you know, planting the broccoli and the cauliflower. In the future, my plan is to be able to hybridize some vegetables and some flowers and make them our own colors and our own varieties. So, and that's a good control. This will give me a good controlled environment where the field is kind of, you don't know what's going on. I can put soaker hoses in these and things like that. And that's what's nice about these, is they'll hold the moisture a little bit more and just make your life a little bit more functional. All right, so I got to do some corrections. One, I was doing my math wrong. The height of the sides will be about 11 inches. It's really 12 inches, but the one thing you'll learn about wood, if you don't know this, is just because it says it's 2x4 doesn't actually mean it's 2x4. It's more like 1.9 by, 3.85 or something like that. The other thing is I am going to use 2x4s as my corner pieces. So what you want to do is you want to cut your corner pieces at 11 inches. It's going to make life a little bit easier for you. So I have some extra spare wood. You could just buy an extra 2x4 or 2, which is cheap, and it'll make an easy corner piece. So you're just going to measure these to 11 inches and then cut them off. I'm not going to show you cutting them off because you already saw me cut off this wood. It's the same exact thing, just in a smaller version. So you need 4 of these. So 4 11-inch corner pieces, and I will show you how to screw them together using the 2x4s. All right. All right, I just want to show you a different angle of me doing these corners. Using the 2x4s, which I think is actually your cheapest way to do it. As you can see, my wood is kind of bowed, and I would suggest definitely marking your wood off when you're cutting it, and taking it slow and easy. I have a tendency to just kind of do it. I would definitely suggest doing that, just because it'll make things easier for you overall, because you're not trying to correct things up, where sometimes I have a fun time doing that. But I'm at a point now where I'm essentially mass producing these for the farm, so it makes more sense for me to do it that way. All right, now we're gonna put the sides on. So, like I said, I just kind of stand it up here. Just line it up. I'm doing this by myself. If I was doing it with somebody, I would probably put this on its side and do it that way. But just because, I guess you could do it by yourself that way too. Let's see if we can. So let me pause this, and what I'll do is I'll see if we can do that. All right, so another way to do this without standing on its side the other way is, since you put these side pieces in now, where your side support's in, these guys right here, these 2x4s, you can literally just lay this on its side now, and then slowly but surely put this together that way. Just line these up. Like I said, I screw it. It'd actually be easier to see. It'll be easier to see the sides, but as you can see, these can go in. My one board's kind of bowed. Now the one thing you want to do is try to make sure this is straight. So you don't want to just now you can just stack them on top of each other, kind of like we did with the other one, or the other side, just laying them on the ground. Apparently I'm struggling to screw today. Hey, whatever. It's amazing what happens when you actually put the right pressure on them. So now we're stacked up here. We'll do this. And this is your corner then. And then you're just gonna do 3 more just like this. This wood's a little bent, but we can fix that on the other end. Guys, we can fix that when we put our corner pieces on the other side, which I will actually do for you guys so you can see how I do it. You could do it a couple different ways. I think the easiest way in this case, because we want to pull these in, so we're just going to line this up like this. All right. You could make the other side. In fact, that might be the better way to go, guys. Hold on one second. So what I did, I haven't put this one side in yet, and what I just wanted to show you is what I did instead of putting it together, laying down or anything like that, like I showed you in one way. This could be another way to do it, and that's basically just put the second side together and then screw it in that way. It probably makes life a little bit easier if you're doing it by yourself, especially if you're not real used to doing things. I'm kind of used to holding things and screwing them together. So, you know, it might be easier for me than it is for you. So I was just trying to think of a way that would make life a little bit easier. For you to do these sides. So I just wanted to share this one with you. I'm always trying to find easier ways to do something, especially when you're doing it on your own. I think you guys have seen me do enough screwing here that what I'll do is I'll show you these guys set up out with the other ones and just kind of give you an overview of what we're doing or how it's done. All right, as you can see, here's our finished products. We already had these 3 built. I'm going to show you the 4x4 that I was talking about in the corner. It is a little more supportive. However, you can see that the 2x4 will still get the job done and actually give you a little more area for dirt. These guys are good solid sizes that you can really fill up. You can see we have the horse manure on the top. And then I just put some fill dirt. We have a huge pile of fill dirt because we have a farm. Obviously, you guys want to, you know, maybe put the cheapest possible dirt you can at the bottom and then get some compost or some cow manure or some kind of nice potting soil for the top if you have a home and you're doing this in your backyard. There are places that you can go and get large quantities of dirt as well, so you can buy compost and things like that through, you know, a landscaping company. And just keep in mind that sometimes when you buy that compost, it's actually just the mulch compost. So you want to make sure that they're actually giving you good compost. So these are just a good, cheap way to control the soil. It's a cheap raised bed that you can control soil, control conditions, and you know, utilize some space in your backyard. So I just wanted to make this video because, you know, you see a lot of videos for raised beds, some more expensive than others, and this is just my take on a raised bed and an inexpensive way to make a raised bed. So I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Please like, subscribe, you know, follow us on our social media. We kind of tailed off on videos, but we're going to be putting out a lot more videos. I'm going to get my wife to do some of her videos on her propagation of a lot of the succulents and things like that she does. And we're moving into the warm weather, so you're going to see a lot more planting videos and all of our farm a little bit more.